conclusion inevitable.
It was a jump to conclusions, Matt.
My conclusion was that this idea was not a practical deterrent.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
In conclusion.
Hello there, folks. Welcome back to In Conclusion, the only movie podcast narrated by Ludacris. I am Dan O'Keefe, and joining me as always is Anna Otto. Anna, how are you?
Oh, Dan, I missed the person I was last week.
What happened? Just from
Watching
watching these
specials. Sorry, but yes.
Well, also joining us, one half of the reason that we were blessed to watch the Thanksgiving specials that we watched for this week. Returning once again with his obscurity in tow, it's Alex Langosch. How are you, Alex?
I'm great, Dan. I thank you for having me on this podcast.
You're welcome.
Welcome back, King.
I will say, you weren't invited. You texted me and was like, I want to be on again. And I'm never going to turn that down. But
The way my jaw just
you
dropped.
thrust these upon us.
What's an invitation but a forced entry?
I don't think that holds up in court.
Good try. Good try.
Also here with us, the other half of the reason why we watched these, the real star who found these movies on a random letterboxd list. It's Lauren Pataki. Hi, Lauren. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here for the first time, and I hope to be back with more obscure holiday specials in the future.
I love that energy.
Yeah. Steer into the skid. So, we are taking a break from the Fockers trilogy.
Yes.
Is that what the series is
Yes.
called?
Yeah.
It's like,
let's go with that.
I mean, is it like the Dark Knight saga, where because the last two have the same words in the title, that's what it ends up being called? It's unimportant.
Yes. The Fockers saga.
Yeah, we're taking a break from that because this episode is coming out on or right before Thanksgiving.
Is it a break or like a sentencing?
It's a pause.
It's a brief respite.
I won't let Dan ever not finish those movies because I really like them.
Yeah.
So, for the record.
She's going to make me lick the Fockers plate clean, to use
I
a metaphor.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Dan, spoilers. I've only seen Meet the Parents.
Me too.
Alex, from a distance, I'm going to need you to also watch the movies.
So
We have other things to watch, other weird Thanksgiving specials.
No. Pause. Put it on pause.
Well, we have to talk about the three that we watched, because we watched three. And they are in, I guess, release order from when they came out. The Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't.
Oh, my God.
Garfield's Thanksgiving. And
Which is an
Turkey Hollow.
Hey, Garfield's Thanksgiving, I will say, is an Emmy winner, so you're welcome.
Emmy nominee.
Garfield.
Wait, I thought it won. I thought like any time a Garfield special came out in the 80s, the Emmy voters just ate it up.
Well, at the it was according to its Wikipedia page, it was nominated for an Emmy at the 42nd annual Emmy Awards.
That one they couldn't get behind.
Apparently not. Nominated for best outstanding animated program.
Define outstanding.
It was Hallmark.
And the Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't was not nominated for anything.
It was nominated for most cringe in my heart.
And
It was nominated for accuracy of an elementary school history textbook.
yeah, from
It was
1971.
nominated for that feels racist.
And then, just based off my brief research, Turkey Hollow was also not nominated for anything.
Turkey Hollow.
don't think we needed to do research to know that was not nominated
Yeah.
for anything, but I appreciate the diligence.
I mean, one would think maybe a Jim Henson piece would get a little attention, but
I mean, even ABC didn't want that. That went to Lifetime.
that's true. Lifetime is where movies and ideas go to die.
I will say, Turkey Hollow was the 19th rated program on cable television for the day it was broadcast. Saturday, November 21st, 2015. It was right in between
Wow.
the 11 p.m. episode of Tiny Luxury on HGTV and the 9 p.m. episode of Jail Las Vegas on Spike.
Oh, that sounds like something I would watch.
Classics.
I mean, that seems like the right,
Bookends.
progressive movement of watching TV.
Right?
Amen.
And I will say, the actual puppets in Turkey Hollow, we thought were quite well done. However, we thought that was the beginning and the end of things that were well done in that film.
I mean, I feel like if it's a Jim Henson puppet, it's going to be well done.
Yeah.
But you're right. That sometimes is going to be the end of it.
Do you know what my prevailing thought was from Turkey Hollow? It's not anything related to the plot. It's so incredibly throwaway, and I think I'm the only person that's ever noticed it. And it's not about Ludacris's green screen, because everybody noticed that. The daughter, I don't remember her name.
The way the mouths just dropped open.
I think I
Because
Alex and Lauren's screen.
I think we might know what you're going to say.
She has gigantic hands.
Oh, that's not what we thought you were
Wait,
gonna
but
say.
Oh,
you noticed that.
Did
though.
I?
You did.
Oh.
You said something about her hands. You're like, her hands are not proportional to the rest of her
No,
body.
they're so big. They're like the size of her forearm.
I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I was baking while watching that one specifically.
Oh, so
I
you
did
took
not notice the
you took my
hands.
barbarian defense, where to
I did.
make a horror movie not scary, you bake during it, but you did it for
Yeah,
Turkey
because I
Hollow.
was scared. I was scared, Dan.
What we thought you were going to say was she looked much older than a 15-year-old, and we found out she was 24 when that was
Yes, she
filmed.
was 24 years old when it was
Iconic.
filmed.
And for some reason, I got stuck on that. And all I could think about was this poor 24-year-old, like, having to go into work every day and deliver
Right.
these lines with
So-
her gigantic hands.
She
Poor
was
girl.
24, and her brother, the actor playing her brother, was 13. So he was around the right age.
Wait, really?
It's
I thought his
giving
brother was
Riverdale.
supposed to be like 10.
Yeah, but 10 and 13 are closer than 25 and 15.
Yes. And I think you should really tell that to a 13-year-old Anna and see what their reaction is.
I will. You know, in the year of our Lord 2022, an 18-year-old is close enough to a 10-year-old for me.
This is going to sound creepy, and I know it's going to sound creepy because I thought through my sentence that I'm going to say. You're the only one on this podcast who has regular contact with children.
Yeah,
Don't
I
like
mean, not regular. I
You-
did get cast in another children's show.
Yeah, that's
so
why.
I will be
That's
seeing
why.
some children. Yeah, it's not like I just walk up and I'm like, hey, kids. Like, no, I act sometimes. Sometimes I go, hey, kids.
I will say, once you hit a certain age, looking at children anywhere from 8 to 14 kind of all blends together for me. It's like, okay, you're just in one category. 8, 12, whatever, it's all the same.
Yeah.
I will say I did see a jarring photo of a teen girl. She said, this is when I met Kylie Jenner, and they were the same age, and Kylie looked like her mother. So that's something that is living rent-free in my mind now.
Let's talk about each one individually, I guess. I don't know. There's not a lot of plot to go through with any of these.
What are you talking about? The very intense plot of the Thanksgiving that wasn't or almost wasn't, and Jeremy or Jennifer or Jeremiah, whatever the squirrel.
Jeremy Squirrel. Gage and I loved Jeremy Squirrel, okay? He's my hero. I will be honoring him this Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I love Jeremy Squirrel as well. Alex has been calling him Jeffrey the entire time, so I don't know where Jennifer came
Jeremy.
from.
I have some issues with what Jeffrey's motivations were.
Okay.
All right.
So are we jumping into Thanksgiving?
Before you jump into that, backstory. The Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't is a 1972 TV special made by Hanna-Barbera, directed by Joseph Hanna and William Barbera. I've messed those names up. Joseph Barbera and William Hanna. Featuring the voice talents of Kevin Cooper, Marilyn Maine, Don Messick, who is the voice of Yogi Bear.
Oh.
June Foray, who's the voice of a number of characters.
I recognize that voice.
Yes. She was the voice of, is it Rocky or Bullwinkle? The small one.
That's Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah. Also the voice of Granny in Looney Tunes, the grandma from Mulan.
Would you like to stay for dinner?
Is she Asian?
Would you like to stay forever?
She is very white.
Wow. Disney, boo.
Yikes.
She is from...
That was before Disney was woke.
She is from... So white, she is from Massachusetts.
Oh. Well, then I guess putting her in this show about Thanksgiving was appropriate, right?
Yes.
That's where the Thanksgiving happened. No, wait, that was Virginia, wasn't it?
No, it was Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Oh, thank
Plymouth
God.
Rock?
Oh my God, don't tell the.
Do you know where Virginia is?
Yes, it's on the east coast. Oh my God, I'm fighting for my life. Listen, I used to be really good at history and geography. I'm a social media manager now. All I know is Facebook. Thank you.
Your TikToks keep coming up on my For You page.
And wait, really?
Yeah.
Are you hitting them with a like?
No.
Alex, can you please hit them with a like?
Sorry,
I'm busting my booty.
I'm sorry. I see realtor stuff. I think that's what that is, and then I'm like,
it is.
And then I'm like, oh, I don't relate to this. And then I keep scrolling.
Just hit it with a like. Just one little like.
All right, I'll
it'll rock your world.
Next time I see it, I'll hit it with a like.
Thank you, King.
That's
all I ask.
Speaking of King, the plot of the Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't is that a talking squirrel must save the first Thanksgiving by rescuing a young pilgrim boy, and the description says a young Native American boy. That's not what they call him in the movie. That have gone missing in the woods on Thanksgiving Day.
That description was updated for 2022.
Yeah, that's a very
Although,
modern.
I want to ask a question to all of you white folk.
Who, us?
You know, yeah, you. I guess, like, I think, now I don't know if we are allowed.
That's never a good start.
Because, no, but like Native American groups, like they have Indian in some of their names. So I just want to make sure I'm calling people the correct thing. I'm not trying to insult. So I just I don't know.
It's good that you're asking us what the correct one is.
I read a book. And it was written by a native author called The Only Good Indians. It was really good. Everybody should go read it. But that got me thinking. I was like, what is the correct term in 2022? So all of our native listeners, please let me know so I don't insult someone. I really need the help.
Well, according to our midterm elections, it is Native American, considering that they wanted to build more racetracks.
No, they wanted to let you gamble at racetracks.
Oh,
Anna's in Wisconsin. They didn't get the ballot propositions out there.
No, I'm aware. I just wanted to put it out that we were voting for that.
Thank you. I love that we had this deep conversation about race on our podcast.
No one better to talk about race than four white folk.
It was just because I was watching this short and I was like, this is not aging well.
Hey, I have some Native American heritage, so I can just take over from here.
Thank you, Queen.
But Alex, Lauren, you had thoughts about the Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't.
Yeah, okay, first off, Jeremy, he's a race traitor.
Species trader.
Species trader. Sorry. He's like the kids are like, let's go hunting, let's play hunting, and then Jeremy's like, I'm gonna help these people who are gonna grow up and try to kill my own.
Yeah.
Who's squirrel hunting? Did they explicitly say squirrel hunting?
They said hunting.
Oh,
They said they were playing
mischievous
hunter.
Children, little boys would definitely kill a squirrel. You're right. Okay.
And then Jeremy's like, and then when Jeremy leaves them all alone, he's like, why don't you go play hunter with all my woodland friends? And they're like, okay, yeah, that's a good fun idea.
Dang. What are their names? What are their names, the little boys? Peter?
Their names
I know that
are
one of them,
Little Bear.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I knew Little Bear because every time he said his name or somebody said his name, Gage went, I got your toothpaste from the Little Bear's toothpaste commercials.
The other one was supposed to be James Cook's son, which I only caught midway through.
Jimmy Cook, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, and James Cook's son is voiced by June Foray.
I knew it. I said that is voiced by a woman.
Yeah, so not to get too into the historical inaccuracies of the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't.
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean inaccuracies?
I just had a problem with just about everything. And then I remembered we were watching a 1972 holiday special, which if you are into holiday specials, you know that the 1970s and 1980s were really a golden age in that they were simplistic, they were reductive, they got pretty much nothing right, but they're kind of a fun watch in terms of the old school animation and the heartwarming sentiment of the first Thanksgiving. However, I did have some questions as to how the Native American tribe and these pilgrims, why do they all speak with the same accent? They all speak perfect English. No cultural differences are addressed, and of
course not.
I was expecting a little more research from Hanna-Barbera.
I would like to pause and say that I found, according to AmericanIndian.si.edu, so this is through the Smithsonian. The proper terms. Generally, Native American is widely used, but American Indian or Indigenous American are preferred by a lot of people. However, certain phrases are outdated and perpetuate stereotypes. I think you guys can figure out what those are without me having to say them. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I just was doing the research, I just wanted to follow up.
And you have officially done more research than anyone on the crew of the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't did.
Yeah.
I mean, it is 2022, not 1970 something anymore.
So the special was written by Ken Spears and Joe Ruby, and I am honestly shocked that Ken Spears, the executive producer of Chuck Norris Karate Commandos, didn't do his research.
I would like to also just say they couldn't have brought in a better songwriter
to play the song twice.
I thought they played it 3 times.
Yeah,
I thought we had like 3.
I was like, did they run out of money? They reused some animation. There was just like the same sequence was replayed halfway through.
The Native American man picked up a full cake.
Picked up the cake?
Which I learned, interestingly enough, was used throughout Hanna-Barbera animation. That was a specific thing that they used. It's called cut a slice, take the rest. And they reused that animation throughout multiple things.
What a clever name. I personally loved the dancing scene. It made me uncomfortable.
What, the weird leg kick heel touch thing that they were doing back and forth for like 20 seconds?
It felt racist. And it also just felt... I laughed because if I didn't laugh, I would have cried every time it came on screen.
We also had a very big laugh after the first play of the stealing the cake song or whatever. Cut a slice, take the rest.
Take the rest.
When it just goes straight into the little girl getting pushed on the swing and she's going, "Wee!"
The faces. I should have filmed. Gage was sitting. Oh, Gage is my fiance, for the record, Lauren.
Gotcha.
He was sitting on the couch, and I wish I had filmed his faces because neither one of us knew there was going to be that song right off the bat. And so we just were both too stunned to speak. We were too stunned to speak. And when it went straight into the wheeze, he was playing Pokemon, and he whipped his head around. It was great. I loved it.
Do you guys have any thoughts about the sequence of the boys playing Hunter in the woods while having a good relationship with the animals that they're play hunting?
Oh, we had a lot of thoughts about that.
Yeah, we were
Alex,
Expand.
why don't you go first, Alex?
It's it was uncomfortable. It made me feel bad for the animals that they're being forced to play dead in what is probably, very, like, I'm sure some of them probably have PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Bambi was there.
Bambi was dead at this point.
What?
Wait, oh no, that's his mom.
Bambi
Never
died?
mind.
Mom,
Yeah. You haven't seen Bambi
Baby's alive and
2?
well, don't worry.
Yeah, no, that was, Jeremy Squirrel should be, arrested and hung for his crime against animals.
I can't get over the scene and after the first song when it gets to the family and Janie and Jimmy are sitting down with mom and dad and they all start to pray, and the little baby squirrel turns to his dad and starts asking about Thanksgiving, and he just knows. For some reason it felt off-putting to me that he just knew it all.
His dad, who was dressed like Yogi Bear and George Jetson combined.
Oh my god, I was living. Oh my god.
Also, the voice actor of Jeremy Squirrel is Hal Smith, who plays Otis Campbell on The Andy Griffith Show. The town drunk.
I love that.
So there's a lot more talent in this than you might expect.
Yeah, especially with the finished product, you'd think there was no talent. But no,
They really pulled
plenty
out
of
all the
talent.
steps.
Am I correct
The reason
in
go ahead.
thinking that did Spears and Ruby, didn't they create Scooby-Doo?
Maybe.
I
I
was
look
thinking-
into that.
I'm
Yes,
fairly
they
certain.
did.
They did. So, I guess, you can't win them all.
Yeah, they must have burned out all the ideas on Scooby.
They
Hey,
had-
well,
And then they said,
wait,
well,
it worked with the talking dog. They were like, run out a talking squirrel.
because Scooby's charming.
Scooby would not sell out his friends.
No, he sold out other dogs, sort of, right?
What?
What?
No, I don't know. I never mind.
Is
I'm backing up.
Scooby a
I'm backing
species
up.
trader?
I don't know.
The
Scrappy is.
I did
Yes.
have a few questions about the world building because I wasn't quite getting why certain animals could talk in this world and others couldn't.
It's like the Pluto problem that Disney has. Why can Goofy talk but Pluto can't? Why is Pluto the pet but Goofy is a full recognized member of society? I think it's the lobotomies.
I was gonna say there's something
Wow.
here. There's a message in here somewhere.
Do you
Jeremy,
think Pluto was manipulated, or not manipulated, abused?
Look up the story of what's her name? It's Ethel Kennedy. It's one of the Kennedy sister who was lobotomized and then kept in a Wisconsin institution for 40 years and never visited by her family.
No, I'm not looking that up. I'm trying to have a good night, Dan.
Okay, Kennedy family
trying to
history
enjoy
isn't your
myself.
bag.
Not until the part where one of them, I think, dated Taylor Swift, right? No.
Yeah,
no,
she
no,
did it
well,
again.
sort of.
I think
Yes, because
Connor.
he's also a Schwarzenegger, right?
Maybe.
Wait.
There are a lot of them.
The intermingling of our upper class is just too much for me.
Anyway,
why didn't
Thanksgiving.
Jeremy give any of his Thanksgiving food to the other animals for helping him out?
Fuck the other animals, that's why.
It's all a power play for Jeremy.
Literally, he wants to be the king of the forest, but he's a squirrel, so he thinks he's got to start from lower down, you know what I mean?
So
Gotta work his way up.
he's teaching the kids to hunt the other animals while they should love the squirrels.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's right. Shoot the rabbits. It's fine.
Shoot the rabbits, George.
Also, going back to the whole animal sequence, because the kids are being hunted by a wolf, the only animal that hasn't fallen to Jeremy's convincing that the humans are good.
Trap.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing here is that the wolf was killed because he was rebelling.
Yes.
Are we being taught to?
Is this an anti-John Brown text?
Whoa.
I would like to say that in the animal posse that the kids were playing with, there was a full bear.
Yeah.
And the bear ran away from the wolf, and I was like, a bear would beat a wolf 10 out of 10 times.
Absolutely. Bears are terrifying, except for their ears. Sorry for that snap. I was closing my water bottle.
I thought that was the exclamation mark on your sentence.
It was.
Do y'all have any more thoughts on this before we get to the next special?
I feel like, I don't know if this came out before or after Scooby-Doo was a thing.
After.
Part of me.
I want to give you the list
thinks,
of... Sorry to cut you off. I want to give you the list of the things that they worked on.
Please go ahead.
So, they created Scooby-Doo. And then immediately afterwards, the two of them wrote an episode of Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch.
Is that based off the Beatles? Like, they did like a Beatles bear thing? Help?
It is animated series centering on 3 bears who live at the zoo.
Do they have
Every now and then they
like
try
the
to
Beatles?
sneak out of the zoo. They are not Beatles. They all have regular, professional, presentable haircuts.
Why are they called the Hair Bear Club or whatever? I feel like
the
they
Hair
should
Bear
have,
Bunch?
Yeah, I feel like they should have like interesting hairstyles.
I just pictured one with really long hair and it made me laugh. I'm sorry.
They then wrote 17 episodes of The Funky Phantom.
Okay,
Is that
so
me?
so
Am I the Funky Phantom?
so far
Googling
the
it.
only thing they've done worth noting is Scooby-Doo.
And then
they peaked. They peaked on their first one.
I
Scooby-Doo.
think that's the problem. They were out of steam.
They then made Scooby-Doo Meets Batman.
Yeah, go back to
Yes.
what you
was
know.
The first special. They created the show The Hound Cats.
Okay, so they
It's a
took another
crack
dip.
team. It's an animated Mission Impossible takeoff using animals.
Wait, what
And
was the
then-
name of that Phantom one again?
The Funky Phantom.
Funky, thank you. I couldn't remember what word it was.
They
I'm
then
Googling it.
made a show called The Barkleys,
Is it about dogs?
a cartoon starring dogs similar to All in the Family.
So was there a racist dog?
Okay,
Yes.
pause for a second. The Funky Phantom Squad is literally just Scooby-Doo, but instead of a Great Dane, they have a bulldog. And they have a companion who's like, his name's Mudsy, the Funky Phantom, and he's literally a part of their team, and he is like a colonial era ghost.
I love that.
Wow.
Okay, anyway, I just wanted to touch base. Oh, and he has a cat partner that lives on his hat.
And in the same year they made The Barkleys, they made The Thanksgiving That Almost Wasn't and A Christmas Story.
Oh, not the Christmas Story?
1972. No, because it's about a dog and a mouse.
Man, they
Is it
really
about
they love
a
their
bulldog?
animals.
I can't tell. It's like a hound dog. It's got big ears.
Okay,
Good.
then it's not the dog from the Funky Phantom.
Did they
No,
make
it's not.
they is the only thing that they made not talking animal centric the Chuck Norris thing?
No, they made Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Well, okay, that has dinosaurs. Doesn't count.
They made Rumpelstiltskin in 1995.
He could be considered
Oh.
an animal in some circles.
I would like everyone to know that the Funky Phantom bunch drives around in a dune buggy called the Looney Dooney, and it's got an American flag on it.
And this is different than Dune Buggy, which was a show at the same time, too.
And this is different from Scooby-Doo. How?
I don't
There's
know.
a man wearing... Oh, wait, that's a screen grab from Scooby-Doo. Never mind.
These characters look so much like Scooby-Doo. Why, there's Fred. And, oh, wait, that's Scooby-Doo. We're too in the weeds. Let's go to the next special. The next special, the Emmy-nominated Garfield's Thanksgiving.
Iconic. This one I actually found myself enjoying. And I also felt sad for, what's his name, John?
Felt sad for him. He's a manipulator.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, Alex!
John's kind of the worst.
Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Okay, he was manipulating Liz for sure, but he's kind of pathetic.
He is a misguided "Where's my hug" guy.
Oh,
I
had an allergic reaction to that statement.
I mean, when you try to ask out a woman in her place of work five plus times, and then resort to trying to suffocate yourself until she says yes, I don't have much sympathy for you.
You mean that's not how you asked out Lauren? Because that's how Gage asked me out.
I will to play John's advocate. She did tell him to hold his breath.
I kind of loved Liz. She's a bad bitch.
I liked Liz too. I think if John
knows.
wasn't so milquetoast, like maybe he would have a chance. I'm not a John fan in general.
That's fair.
I don't understand calling somebody milk toast is like calling somebody vanilla. Milk and toast are both delicious.
False.
That's a fair point, but they're both very basic. There's nothing much. There's no flavor.
That's fair.
There's no spice.
So Garfield's Thanksgiving, written by Jim Davis, who created Garfield.
They brought in the big guns.
The special takes place during the timeline of the second season of Garfield and Friends, in case anybody is worried about that.
Oh, good. So it is canon to Garfield.
It is canon, yes.
Thank God.
Directed by Phil Roman, who also directed or was involved with a number of other specials, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, bunch of Charlie Brown specials.
Just need to take it aside here to something that is not anything related to what we're talking about, but kind of. Did you guys know when we were looking for Halloween specials, Lauren found a special called Halloween is Grinch Night, and
what?
It doesn't take place on Halloween. The Grinch only comes out when the air smells sweet and sour, and when he comes out, he says it's a wonderful night for eyebrows, and then his eyebrows do a little dance.
They
That's
leave his
literally
face
mood.
and dance. I think next Halloween, I think you might need to dedicate an episode to it.
I am 100% behind that.
It does give Nazi imagery.
A little bit, for sure. Which
I wasn't interested, but now.
The eyebrows attack people, Dan.
Okay, you hooked me.
I'm a little nervous.
Last thing about Phil Roman before we get back into Garfield. His company, Phil Roman Entertainment, produced the animated special Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Oh,
Classic.
Which we all know that it was Grandpa who killed Grandma and not Santa.
Correct.
I have a... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I won't.
Because I think you were going to
I
answer my
won't.
question, Dan.
What's your question?
I have a really dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
Who voices Garfield?
Lorenzo Music.
He sounds like Bill Murray. I was fooled.
he does sound like Bill Murray. I agree.
Yes, thank you. The whole time I was like, are we sure Bill Murray hasn't been doing this all along? Because I feel like they made a big deal out of it when he voiced him in the movies.
Do you know the story of how Bill Murray signed on?
I love this. I was going to mention it.
I don't.
So his agent came to him and said, "Hey, they're making a Garfield movie. They want you to be the voice of Garfield."
Naturally.
His name is escaping me right now.
Bill
Joel
Murray.
Cohen is writing and directing the movie.
I thought it was Eaton Cohen.
One of the two. And Bill Murray, hearing that, was like, "Oh, great! I get to work with the Coen brothers. They're making a Garfield movie." The Coen brothers, like "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou," Fargo, those Coen, Big Lebowski. He's like, "Oh, great!
I
I'll
think
sign
I'm getting
on."
them confused with someone.
Who are you confusing them with?
Who are the ones who are now who are now women?
The
and they-
Wachowskis.
Yeah, all these siblings, they get me confused.
So Bill Murray signs on, and then production starts, and he goes to a meeting, and he sees that he is not with either of the Coen brothers. He is with a similarly named writer and director whose name is either Joel or Etan Coen.
I think that's who you're thinking of.
Etan, yeah.
Etan Coen, and his reaction is basically, "Oh fuck."
Oh no.
But then the money started talking.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the Garfield in this is voiced by Lorenzo Music, who co-created the Bob Newhart show.
oh,
So once
It was
again,
a-
we're just overflowing with talent.
Yes.
This
I love
time,
that.
some of the talent peeks its head a little bit.
Just a bit.
And it originally aired on November 22nd, 1989
good year.
on CBS. And as we said, nominated for Outstanding Animated Program at the 42nd Emmy Awards.
Which the Emmys love Garfield. I've done extensive research. They have given the Emmy to Garfield specials, like, all the time. when they
Didn't
were
the
coming out.
Halloween one we watched this year? I believe that one.
Yeah, we watched the Halloween one that honestly I thought was worse than this one.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving one was an improvement. You should have watched the Halloween one first, because the Thanksgiving one was a lot better after watching that.
I don't think that's possible anymore. I think that genie's out of the bottle. The granny in this special is voiced by Pat Carroll, who was the voice of Ursula in The Little Mermaid.
I thought it was going to be Phyllis Diller.
What?
Yeah, it sounds like
Really?
Phyllis Diller.
It does, yeah.
I was like,
I
I was
did
waiting
not
for the
put two and
credits,
two
and I was like,
together.
oh, Phyllis Diller, show me the name. Then I saw Pat Carroll, and I was like, well, I was wrong. And that was the end of that.
Grandma was my favorite
Okay.
part of the special, to be honest.
Yeah, Grandma was absolutely slaying it.
I mean, Grandma
My
is
favorite-
our favorite part of life, I would say.
Fair.
My favorite part had to be the talking scale.
Yes,
Oh,
with some
Straight up
with some-
insulting.
I felt seen during that. I felt attacked and I felt seen.
and
It
I
also felt like Taylor Swift recently watched this before she made her music. video for Hero.
Anna, we made that reference. We were like, this would be totally
Yes.
scrapped today because
Yes.
they would just have to edit it out. But I will say I'm glad it's in there because I was never expecting Citizen Kane references to be dropped in the Thanksgiving Garfield special. So
That had
I
me
mean, we
laughing.
could all-
That was good.
I think we can all agree Garfield's Thanksgiving is the Citizen Kane of Garfield media.
I would agree.
Please.
Maybe.
Um,
It's up there.
I do want to call attention to John's Thanksgiving dinner because that honestly made me like John even less. The fact
The one that he made or the one that his grandma made?
the one that he made because they act like it's ruined because he doesn't know how to cook. However, I want to point out all he was making was a turkey and vegetables. And if I got
Yeah, where are
invited
the
to
potatoes?
Thanksgiving and someone made turkey and vegetables, I'd be pissed.
I'd feel like they were trying to insult me.
I
And he
agree.
didn't even season the vegetables. And then Garfield goes, "Oh, let me put some garlic on here and ruin these." I'm like, "Nah, King, you saved the dish."
Also, I don't know about you, but I don't know if any of you had a first date with your significant others on Thanksgiving, but I'm not necessarily trying to go on a first date on a major holiday with someone.
No.
Like, does she not have family? Does Liz not have friends, family, any relations that she'd like to have Thanksgiving dinner with instead? That bothered
I
me.
agree with you. I agree with you. Actually, this is the first time I'm ever going to a significant other's Thanksgiving this year. So,
And you're engaged. It's not a first date
Yeah.
situation.
no. I mean, might as well. Not kidding.
Like, just the lead up of events is like, it's probably the least romantic place to ask someone on a date. Your fat cat being told that he needs to go on a diet is like, hey baby, you want to come over for some turkey? That my cat.
And that's not a
my
euphemism.
cat healthy, but I'll feed you, I guess, too. Not sexy, very clunky.
And
Very
then it's
John.
like, you say no? Well, I'm going to suffocate myself.
You're right. Now the more you think about it, the more that behavior would have him doxxed from every dating app.
That would have him having to go to another vet.
You're right. You're right.
I want to point out when John doesn't know how to make the turkey. It is still frozen the day of Thanksgiving.
John,
He, instead of
bare
cooking
minimum.
it at 325, he cooks it at 500 degrees, because that'll work. Puts no stuffing, gets told to rub the skin with butter. He rubs his own skin with butter. And then he throws all the vegetables in a pile of water on the stove.
Real Amelia Bedelia moment there,
Yeah.
John.
God.
From the three that we watched, I genuinely enjoyed this special.
Yeah?
I thought it was funny, lighthearted, very, very much like the other pieces of Garfield media that I have consumed. And trust me, I've consumed plenty. I checked out every episode of Garfield and Friends from the library when I was a kid. I single-handedly kept those in circulation. And it fit right in. And I think it's so stupid also, in the best way possible. Like, everything that happens is so what a 5-year-old thinks would happen, both in the plot and also like, oh no, I've written myself into a corner. Grandma's coming! Sure. Why
Also,
not?
does Grandma not have... It's like this town...
Where's Grandma's family and friends?
Where's Grandma's
Why was she
family?
not invited?
Grandma said, hold on, Shirley, my grandson needs me. And she ditched her friends, ran over to John's house.
Yes.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Maybe John is just such an awful person to be around that he wasn't invited to like the family Thanksgiving where Grandma is.
Oh, Grandma's the only one who still cares about him. He didn't even call his own mother.
Conspiracy.
I believe it.
I will say, Dan, I have to agree with you. I think it was the most watchable of all of them. And it is hard to find a 70s or 80s Thanksgiving special that is not racist. And so they just steered clear of any of that material, which props to them.
Yes.
And another thing you'll find with watching a lot of holiday specials is a lot of times they don't actually focus all too much on the holiday that they reference.
No, most are love stories.
Most are love stories. So, or just bizarre things where people's eyebrows come off and attack other people. So,
God, that's terrifying.
you hate to see it happen, but it does.
Although, I mean, there wasn't any racism, but there was like incel moments.
There were a couple incel moments. For
I'll
sure.
take
That's the
incel
80s.
over racism
It's just the 80s,
today.
man.
It's just the 80s. But I think it was definitely the most watchable of the three.
Okay, I want to posit a question to everybody.
Okay.
Say someone came up to you while you were at work
Okay.
and was like,
Okay.
I'd be like, how did you get in my apartment? But continue.
they come up to you and they ask you on a date multiple times, and then they hold their breath and you feel sorry for them, so you say yes, and then they say, oh, our date's going to be on Thanksgiving, and somehow you still say okay,
Yeah.
and then you go to their house and they talk about the history of Thanksgiving for hours on end while you don't see them go into the kitchen, and then all of a sudden a full meal has been prepared. Would you go on a second date with them after that?
I would know they were lying. I'd be like, tell me the truth about who made this food, and I'll go on another date with you.
Oh, so if you get that answer, you're like, yes.
Well, you can tell it's a product of its time, because that would have been a big mystery back then. Today, if that happened, I'd be like, okay, so you like DoorDashed it and like got it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fair.
that's
you
true.
know. So
If that happened to me, the moment they got into the incredibly dry 45-minute plus depiction of the history of Thanksgiving, my pants would have been off.
Yeah, that's because you're so horny for history.
That's why he was just so turned off by the Thanksgiving that almost was, isn't it? It was just so historically inaccurate.
Personally, I would have, unpopular opinion here, but when someone came into my place of work and held their breath until I said yes to going on a date with them, I think I would have just moved cities and changed names. Like, that is the red flag to end all red flags.
Anything else to add before we move on to the last and biggest special that we watched?
Yes, I do have one thing to add, actually, just in case anyone is interested. If we have any educators in the room, while doing some research on this special, I found on a website where you can purchase teaching materials, there are multiple worksheets for Garfield's Thanksgiving that you can purchase.
Okay, I love that.
And so I have a few questions on how this is educational, but there's multiple comprehension and there's quizzes, there's everything. So this is being used as a teaching tool, just so everyone knows.
As it should be. You get good life lessons from it. You get an in-depth history of Thanksgiving.
True.
The kids are going to love. You get a lesson on how to properly handle yourself in a workplace, as we mentioned earlier. You get positive body image. And you get film history.
So true.
This covers a day's
areas.
worth of teaching.
And some critical problem-solving skills, which is, in the end, just call grandma.
Amen. Yeah.
Always call grandma.
So there will be a test at the end of this podcast.
Great. I love it.
Also, I'd like to add, how is Garfield healthy when all he eats is lasagna? Thank you, the end.
I mean, the doctor said it straight out. He needs to lose a few pounds because all he's eating is lasagna.
But then at the end, she's like, well, Garfield, you are healthy, and this diet is hard for you after a day. So...
I mean, Garfield should not be forced to do something he doesn't want to do. I don't know.
I mean, who can't relate to that? At the end of day one of any diet, we've all wanted to be like, ugh. I can't, it's just too hard.
Maybe if John didn't feed Garfield table scraps, he'd be okay.
See, it's come full circle. Everything is John's fault. No one likes John.
No one likes John.
He shouldn't be feeding him. He should be checking what foods are healthy for cats before he starts giving him all lasagna willing. Half a lettuce leaf doesn't even seem like it's healthy for a cat.
To defend Garfield, he doesn't only eat lasagna. That's just his favorite. He eats anything, so long as it has no nutritional value.
True.
And he requested pancakes in this special.
Yes.
So.
And John just buckles under. That's why his name's John Arbuckle. He's always buckling under the pressure of Garfield.
Not the pressure.
We personally really related to the opening of this special because Garfield tells John that he needs him to wake up and make him an enormous breakfast before, and then he can go back to bed. And that is a experience Alex has every day at my house because one of my dogs jumps on top of him, literally uses both paws to scratch his face, and then will lick him until he gets up and feeds her breakfast. And then when he goes back to bed after that, she scratches at the door until he lets her back in. So
I love that.
That's crazy. Related. That's what Anna does to me. Let's move on to the last special's the right word. Jim Henson's Turkey Hollow.
Lord.
A Lifetime original movie that aired November 21st, 2015. That's it.
I have something to add before we judge it too harshly. I just want you all to know, I don't know if this came up in anyone else's research, but just so we know what they went through to make this piece of entertainment for us. I read that the puppeteers had to be buried during filming in the woods because to get the proper effect of the puppets being, autonomous, basically not puppets, throughout filming in the woods, they had to bury the puppeteers in a ditch that they dug for them and then cover them with dirt and cloth and then planks. So they could not see them for up to 45 minutes at a time. So,
I thought you were going to say like 4 days at a time. And I was like, Jesus.
The way I would have had a panic attack.
So that's what they sacrificed for us.
Thank you.
They really believed in
brave men and women
in the entertainment they were making. They said, Thwump or whatever his name was, Zorp is going to be just the next hot Muppet. Everyone's going to love it.
Oh, imagine allowing yourself to be buried for the craft, and then when you come out of your hole, this is what you see.
Can you imagine being... Let's say they forgot about the puppeteers in one scene, and they're still buried under the hole, screaming for help.
No!
And all they can hear is Mary Steenburgen just hitting a rock with a stick.
Oh my God, my nightmare.
Do you think that when they were buried underground, they stayed in character? So if you were left underground, somebody just kept yelling "squonk" until they were pulled up?
Yes,
I think so.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like what people say, like when people.
What do people say, Alex?
Well, when actors say like, "Oh, I met Kermit the Frog," they like feel like they're actually talking to Kermit, not like a puppeteer. Mm-hmm. So it's like, "Oh, Mary Steenburgen's like, yeah, like I was talking to Thwarp or Zip or whatever the hell their names."
They've actually never broken character since. They just got so into it.
I did see a video of somebody who worked for like the Disney college program, and they were like, "Oh, Kermit came to our concert," and like Kermit did walk in, but so did the puppeteer, and I was like, everybody's going, "Kermit! Oh my God, Kermit!" And I'm like, I wonder what it would be like, just would I be able to not focus on the puppeteer, because I'm a little...
This is why we have to bury them in dirt and wooden planks.
You're right. Amen.
So Turkey Hollow is based on a story by Jerry Jewell called The Musical Monsters of Turkey Hollow, which was originally written in 1968 as one of Jim Henson's proposed specials that they were making.
So they just went to the backlog and was like, what can we put together?
Yeah, and they had put together, in their original production, had puppet designs created for some of them that were built and still exist in the archives of the Jim Henson Company.
Oh, so they didn't even have to pay money to make these?
They had to refurbish them.
Oh.
They were from the 60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
But still, it's not like they had, like... It's not like you can say, like, oh, the whole budget went to making the puppets.
Because that's what we thought at first, that, like, they just blew all the money on the puppets, and that's why everything else turned out as it turned out.
They blew all the money on Ludacris.
Amen.
Do you think Ludacris's friends give him shit every day for wearing a cardigan?
I think they do, but then he goes, "Oh, that's so funny." He pretends to wipe his tears away with like $100.
See, I don't think he made that. I think that's all he made off that movie was $100.
He worked.
No, but I mean in general, like my boy, he's wealthy enough.
Whatever
he did this for charity work.
Whatever anyone made on this movie was not enough. We actually paused midway through to look at Mary Steenburgen's net worth, and I was like, if it's anything under $4 million, then fine, I accept. Mm-hmm. It turns out she and Ted Danson have a combined net worth of $80 million, so this is just inexcusable to me.
So Turkey Hollow, directed by Kirk R. Thatcher, who
what a name,
is also the picture of Uncle Ned. Starring Mary Steenburgen, Jay Harrington, who starred in Better Off Ted on ABC, and now he's in SWAT. So love me some network TV. Genevieve Buchner's Large Hands. Graham Bashir, Ludacris. with music by Mick Giacchino. Do you know who Mick Giacchino is?
No,
Isn't Michael Giacchino under a stage name?
It's
I
Michael
did research.
Giacchino's son.
Just son. Okay, I tried to figure it out and I couldn't.
How old would his? I feel like Michael Giacchino is like pretty young.
No, he's like our parents' age.
Oh, really?
I think so. A little younger.
But like in 2015, doesn't his son be like 15?
That's kind of what it felt like.
Michael Giacchino is 55. And outside of this, he has worked as a composer for Zootopia Plus.
Ooh, big one.
And I cannot figure out how old he is.
But I
He's
noticed
a nepotism baby. Age doesn't matter.
Michael himself worked on this movie.
Yes, he was the producer of the soundtrack.
Right. Which again, can't win them all.
You're going to be shocked to find this out. Mick Giacchino does not have a LinkedIn that I can figure out his age from.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
Well, that he doesn't need a LinkedIn. He gets all of his work from his dad.
Yeah.
There you go. Nepotism.
So, yeah, Turkey Hollow. It's, Alex, you owe me $3.
Hey,
paid to watch this.
Yeah, that's $3 to the Henson Company.
It's all going to Ludacris.
It's all going to Ludacris.
They're still paying him.
he took a back end deal.
Honestly, I think this movie was decent if you kind of went it, like if you watched it as a horror movie. I think it was kind of decent.
And that's why we had to bake cookies while viewing.
I mean, I don't know about you, but like I got jump scared every time Ludacris came on screen because I had totally forgotten he was part of it.
Do you?
That's fair.
Poor Ludacris.
There's one aside with Ludacris where one of the monsters, the hoodoos, come up, like they kind of like rushes Ludacris. Do you think the first time that happened they didn't tell Ludacris that was going to happen and he just like took a nice swing at the puppet?
Alex, you're assuming they did more than one take of each? They had him for 2 hours.
Ludacris was like, please, let's hurry this up. I got places to be and I don't want to be seen here.
I gotta get there fast.
I would pay
and furious
money.
I was gonna say that.
I would pay money to see his contract for this role. I feel like there was some good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he lost a bet.
Him and Vin Diesel had a bet.
Yeah. The plot of Turkey Hollow is a newly divorced dad, his technology-addicted bitch daughter, and his...
Wait, before we go on, can I say what one of my favorite lines is in this?
Oh, yeah, Alex and I have been quoting this all week.
Please.
It was something like, at least...
Oh, I remember.
You remember?
It was like, I can't remember the kid's name, but it was like,
At least when Jennifer's parents got divorced, they had the decency to spoil her.
Yeah.
Damn, iconic.
So those two and his stupid 12-year-old son is way too excited about the hoodoo go to Turkey Hollow, the turkey capital of the Pacific Northwest, to meet with his eccentric Aunt Cly, Mary Steenburgen. And they go on a quest to search for the Howling Hoodoo, a 10-foot monster that is a legend to the citizens of Turkey Hollow. While they're there, they accidentally let loose a bunch of turkeys from the neighbor who wants to demolish the farm.
The
idiot boy.
The idiot boy who got off scot-free for letting $10,000 worth of turkeys go.
Hey, but do you see how genuine his apology was? He was so sad.
Sadness means nothing.
Yeah. $10,000 later.
While they are attempting to find the turkeys that they lost, they run into these creatures that live in the forest named Squonk, Zorp, Burble, and Thring. And they try to use them to save Aunt Cly's not farm. She's QAnon. She would absolutely follow. I know she doesn't have technology, but like the everyone who was like they call her a socialist. They're like, oh, look at how far left this woman is. Look at how kooky she is. Everyone that was on the like crystal end of that, they're all buying into the like drinking blood of children thing.
Ew, oh god, Pizzagate or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think Lauren brought up a good point? Do you think Mary Steenburgen did this so she could voice her own views? Like, do you think this was just...
That's my theory. Because she seemed a little passionate about pushing some of this, like, some of the moments where she was talking about, like, oh, it's toxic, they're putting chemicals in your food. I don't think there was a script there. I think that was just her genuine views.
Maybe. I don't know enough about her views.
I don't either. It felt like, and not that they're wrong, of course, we can all agree, like, we don't want chemicals in things we eat, but she just seemed a little too straightforward. It seemed like an educational thing that she thought she was doing. I think that's why she took prepared. The role.
I'm gonna push back on the we can all agree. There's nothing better than I want in my food than some good old PCBs.
That's fair, Dan. I respect that.
I want my insides to be non-stick.
Ew.
Yeah, so, Anna, what are your thoughts on Turkey Hollow?
It was scary. It was scary. I mean, I don't know, like, it's hard for me to roast too deeply on a Jim Henson film, but I think if I'd watched this any younger than I am right now, I would have been scarred for life.
Okay.
We did have a jump scare.
Yes. Other than ludicrous.
Would you like to say the jump scare?
Well, sure. This is why I said I think it's actually quite decent if you watch it as a horror film. If you kind of think about that going in,
change that mindset.
It turned very dark very quickly with like we're gonna zap the kids or whatever. We're gonna electrocute the children.
Yeah.
Scary. See?
Definitely a jump scare when all of a sudden when the bad guys, the henchmen, trap the two children in the barn. Like
Best
the
part
garage.
of the movie.
Best part of the movie. And
I was hoping they die.
And the girl the girl has the allergic reaction to feathers. When they cut to her, I think it might have been the makeup department not quite doing their best job, but I think her eyes are supposed to be red and it looks like they're bleeding profusely. And so when they just cut to her, her skin is blue, her eyes are bleeding. I was like, whoa, Jim Henson.
God. See, I just think, oh, God, imagine being a child, like you're sitting down with your kids and you're like, let's watch this Jim Henson film. Those are usually appropriate for children. Mm-hmm. And then this is what you see?
I'm 26 and I was a bit disturbed by it. I was thinking about that when we went to bed that night. This child bleeding from her eyes. Wasn't expecting that.
I think I have no more thoughts on the child bleeding from her eyes. I think you've covered that very well. I loved it though. I think that this is worse than most bad Disney Channel movies.
Whoa, that's big.
Writing quality, production-wise, Ludacris's green screen was worse than the green screen we used at projects in college.
Yeah, there could have been a little bit more effort put into that. I feel like they didn't even try.
He was glowing green.
I'm pretty sure there was a part where like they really did a bad job keying out his like cardigan or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
maybe they added him late and it was just too late. They're like, we gotta get this movie out the door. We don't have time to go in and make sure it looks clean.
Ludacris was not gonna go out into the middle of nowhere. He wasn't going to Turkey Hollow.
No, I think
honestly
what happened is they made the movie all as a straightforward, it was supposed to be like a 90-minute Lifetime movie. Jim Henson, ha ha ha, wonderful, blah blah blah. And then they assembled a cut of it, and they watched it, and they're like, we need to add in someone or something to make this thing remotely watchable. Because this is horrendous. And I assume Mick Giacchino called up his good friend Ludacris, because they're both musicians, and he was like, Lifetime will give you $1 million to work for one day.
And
Will
he said,
you
"That's
do
it?"
this? That's it. That's all he needed.
The head of Lifetime will sacrifice their firstborn if you do this for you.
Oh my God.
It was just like shocking because the talent involved in this, at least the adult talent, they're all accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a
actors.
lot of big names. Like, people I, Anna Otto, unknower of any actor, recognize.
Yeah.
How much do you think they spent on Mary Steenburgen's little white hair extension?
Oh boy.
Just the hair extension?
Yeah.
You broke them.
$17.
I was gonna go crazy and say 300 just for fun.
I was gonna say $1. I think they got it at a dollar store.
Alex asked me
You
at
think
one
they
point.
cut the hair out of somebody else's hair?
Alex asked me at one point, do you think it's an extension or did she dye her hair for the role? And I said, I don't think Mary Steenburgen did anything beyond the bare minimum for this role.
As she should.
To be fair, I think the plot about the girl's allergies with the feathers was inspired by Mary herself, because I read that she was miserable the entire time on set because she was deeply allergic to something in the house they rented to be like her house in the movie. So she was like constantly having an allergic reaction, and I feel like that honestly like kind of makes things make more sense.
I mean,
You think they just like improv'd that and she's off set going, "Hey, wait a minute."
hey, you can't say people didn't suffer for their art.
Remember, people got
right.
buried, Alex.
People got-
Mary's
Yeah.
allergies were the least of it.
People did suffer, truly. And then we suffered on the other
Yeah.
end.
The goal of art is for the artist and the audience to suffer.
But
Amen.
isn't that the whole heart of Thanksgiving? Suffering.
Suffering?
Turkeys
You're right.
turkeys suffer for us, and we think
We
about
suffer in the kitchen.
we suffer in the everyone's just suffering. at
Everyone's
Thanksgiving.
suffering. Also,
What did you think about the creatures?
I loved one of them, but I don't remember which one.
I love
Greep,
all of
thought
them.
they were all
Bleaselblop,
scary.
Gorp, or Steve? I don't remember their names.
God. I feel like those are just stomach sounds.
Squonk, Zorp, Burble, and Thring.
That's literally what my stomach sounds like right before lunch.
You should get that checked out.
I just have a loud stomach.
I mean, I would definitely hug them.
Yeah, they were adorable.
Okay, John Arbuckle.
I was a little spooked by them.
I thought they were fine. I think that they looked no better than the creatures that were made for the Neverending Story 30 years earlier. I would think at some point there would be advancement.
Let's not talk bad about Neverending Story puppetry.
Oh. No comment.
I'm not talking bad. I'm saying they look like they were made 30 years ago and then dusted out and refurbished.
I mean,
That's fair.
you're
That's
not wrong.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
literally. Yeah. I think I read that this movie they considered for a while setting it in the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly want to see that version. I want to see it.
I think that would
A
make a
prequel.
lot of sense.
What would the
Yeah.
bitch daughter be obsessed with if not her phone?
That's so
The
fair.
Beatles.
Yeah, like exactly. Exactly.
A record player, records.
Oh my
I need to
god,
see the Beatles.
my record player can't play here. We're off the track, the needle? I don't know.
Literally.
And the son's, oh cool, we're off the needle. There's no radio reception here. Shut up.
My ham radio.
Can we? can we talk about how the main villain who's trying to take down Mary Steenburgen's Turkey Rehabilitation Center is named Eldritch?
Eldridge Stump? Eldridge Slump?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's not a real name. That's a fake name.
That sounds like somebody rolled some word dice.
Hold on, I'm gonna check on this fact.
Eldridge is a real name.
Yes, it is. I think that's.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure that's Tiger Woods' real name.
What?
Shut up, really?
Tiger Woods is...
I truly believed his name was just Tiger.
I thought it was
from
Tiger.
the womb.
I think it's Tiger.
No, his real name is not Tiger. Let me look it up.
I'm shook because all this time I truly believed Tiger Woods was just named
It's Eldrick. Eldrick Taunt Woods.
Where did Tiger come from?
It's his nickname.
But who gave it to him?
He did.
He says, "I'm Tiger now."
Also, fun fact that I think no one but me will appreciate is gerrymandering is named after someone named Eldridge.
Jerry. Yeah.
Oh.
So
I am, again, dry history, pants off. We've established this.
Please. Any more history and Dan's going to have to leave the room.
The only other Eldridge that I've heard of before is Eldridge Cleaver, who was an early leader of the Black Panther Party, who then later in his life became a conservative Republican. So, you know.
What a progression.
Talk about some history.
What a switch up.
Wow.
You know who, okay, this is kind of random, but we were really disappointed to learn was, like, pretty conservative, was Mary Tyler Moore.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was aware of that, yeah.
Yeah, disappointing. You wouldn't have...
Which is really funny because Dick Van Dyke is, like, socialist.
I know.
Yeah.
So weird.
And Mary Steenburgen is QAnon, apparently.
She is Q. She is the storm.
Q.
Oh, God.
Burble is Q.
But back to the puppets. I did think they were the best part of the movie. But again, that's a low bar in this case.
Yeah.
And it's Jim Henson. I mean...
Right. You're expecting at least the puppets to be...
A little bit.
Did you guys...
Not everybody's going to be Kermit, but...
We can't all be Kermit.
Did you guys notice when Mary Steenburgen is hitting the rock or whatever in the middle of the forest while the tree like dances, that the sound was not synced up to what she was hitting?
At all?
Like completely out of sync.
Yeah.
Just completely
Oh,
out
God.
of sync.
Did you
That drives
notice
me bonkers.
when she threw her canteen water bottle thing at the truck that was driving towards them, how it turned into a fucking missile? It pierced the windshield of the car. You had a first-person shot of that. Why did that happen? What directing choice was that?
Also, like, this totally would have been avoided if she just, like, came out and showed the kids the hoodoos. It was like, you know, if you hear them, like, be chill, they're cool. Like, it could have been avoided.
But then there's no plot, Alex.
They mentioned hoodoos in Labyrinth. Are these the same hoodoos? Does David
Yes.
Bowie exist in Turkey Hollow?
Yes.
Yes, that's canon.
That's
right
canon.
there, that's canon.
Well, wait, was your question, does David Bowie exist, or does David Bowie's character exist? Because I think David
Both.
Bowie exists.
I
Both.
think they both exist.
Just his cod piece from Hollow, actually.
No, why is it always
from
the
Willow.
cod piece? God, that came up at work one day.
I guess, Anna, question for you.
Dan, answer for you.
Would Turkey Hollow be better, worse, or the same with a child Jonathan Taylor Thomas as the stupid son?
Better. Better. Just by bias. But also just because I think the movie needed a little help, and I think he could have been the help that was provided.
Mary wasn't doing much help either.
We can't blame her. She was,
I
she was
think
dying
that
of allergic
the
reaction.
Oh, yeah.
The big wig actors phoned it in for this one.
They did.
Yes. I don't know. The star of Better Off Ted was really given his all as the dad.
He had a very, like, he did not want to say that he was divorced for that whole movie.
You know, never having been divorced,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can imbue my experiences onto him, but I don't know. That could be a touchy subject for people. Maybe they're just separated and they haven't actually gotten divorced yet, and he thinks that they could still work.
Well, his kids really wanted him to say it.
That was the big win at the end.
Yeah, they're like, you said it. You said you were divorced.
Dad's living in denial.
Yikes.
Wasn't it
When
funny?
he says that they're divorced, we get 2 Christmases.
Wasn't it funny how they make it a big point that they're like going off the grid, and that's really traumatic for the teenage daughter, and yet like he's up in the base or like in the attic working the whole time on his laptop.
On his laptop. Yeah.
He's like, I have to go make a phone call. And they're like, with what phone?
Do you have a landline? There's a rotary upstairs. Shut up.
It's literally a landline.
Mary, go talk to your hoodoos.
Talk to the hoodoos, Mary.
Do you think the cop in real life, say this took place in like not movie world in real life, do you think at the end when Mary Steenburgen's like, oh, we have musical hoodoos in our living room, do you think when the cop goes, or the kitchen, do you think when the cop would actually go in, do you think, how many bullets do you think would be fired?
1 million. The gun would be
800.
empty and reloaded. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that house would be just torn apart. Oh
god.
I'm sorry, I totally skipped over the plot line of the cop doing the double entendres. Every time he talks, he's like, "Well, you know, just give me a ring if you want me to come in you again. I mean, come again." What? Sorry.
Oh god.
But also, like, when Mary Steenburgen first opens the door, she's not wearing anything revealing, but he's like all hot and bothered.
He's acting shocked, and she's like in a normal like nightgown with like a bathrobe on.
She's
like telling me that I'm seeing a woman's clavicle.
Oh,
elbows.
The sight of a woman.
Oh no.
Alex and Lauren, who are your favorite performers?
Oh wow. The Foley artist who had a very hard time syncing up.
No, not in the movie. I mean, just in general. So I can ask you the question that I ask every time.
Oh, are you asking who our favorite actors are?
Yeah, actor, performer, whoever. Because you could say like
you said Carrie.
You could say Tom Bergeron. I don't know. I don't consider him an actor.
John Candy.
Personally
You know
living.
it's John Candy.
I know it's John Candy. Lauren, what about you?
Oh, I don't have a favorite actor.
Yes, you do.
Who?
Zendaya.
Oh yeah, I do love Zendaya.
Oh, iconic
Okay.
choice, girl.
Would this movie be better, worse, or the same with John Candy as the dad and Zendaya as the daughter?
I think the same because with Zendaya, because that would have been in the phase of her career where she was just very by the book of building a career, so it would have been exactly the same.
This would have been right after she left.
Shake It Up.
Shake It Up.
100%.
But isn't that when she went into Casey Undercover?
Yeah, so right in that era.
She was still Disneying.
So I wasn't aware of her Casey Undercover era.
Get with the time.
Yeah, Dan, come on.
Come on, Dan.
But, I'll let you speak soon, but I do think personally, if John Candy was the dad in this, I think it would be a holiday classic.
I agree.
See,
John Candy's Bones.
I would agree, except for the fact that I feel like it would be out of character for him to be like, I don't believe in all that. I feel like John Candy would be like more like going with the flow of everything.
But I think he would have brought his own personality and humor to it, and they would have
true.
like adjusted the script around him.
That's
and
true.
I think honestly, John Candy can save anything.
That is a good point.
What if he was Mary Steenburgen's character instead?
And the cop
No.
was still getting so hot and bothered around him.
I love that. How progressive. Oh, wait, it takes place in 2015. I forgot it wasn't the 60s for a second. Still love it, though.
What if Jimmy Stewart as, I don't know, Glorp? Better?
The puppeteers buried under
Buried puppeteers as Eldridge?
He would be Eldridge.
I want my goddamn money! Give me your property!
I feel like
Better.
Joe Pesci would have been really great in that role.
Yeah,
I
could see it.
Do do you think that they have grounds to arrest?
No, that's not how the law works. That's not how it works at all. Why is this cop acting as the judge? That's not what a cop does. That's what a trial is for, to figure out if she's guilty or not. What is this? What is this bastardization of the law?
I don't know if I think it'd be very hard to I can't get over the fact that it's like the turkey kibble was in like radioactive waste barrels.
Soviet waste barrels. That just I can't get my head over that. And I thought you needed to know that. We did. Rapid fire. Give me a rating out of 0 to 5 turkeys for each special. Lauren, you go first.
All right, I'm gonna give the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't a 0.5, mostly because of the racism.
Amen.
I'm gonna give Garfield a 2.5.
Okay.
But that a generous 2.5. And I'm going to give Turkey Hollow a 0.75.
Whoa.
Alex?
Getting real mathematical.
I will give the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't. I'll give that a solid 1 turkey. Generous for the replay value of the girl going wee. For some reason, that just really got me. I will give Garfield's Thanksgiving a 3 turkey. Even though John Arbuckle is literally the worst. And I will give...
That's bold to say after having watched Turkey Hollow.
Amen.
But, I mean, there wasn't, like... The people we were supposed to root for weren't, like, incel, manipulator, dumb as rocks, observably stupid people.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you taking a line from Dave Chappelle on SNL.
I did watch his monologue, and that was the only thing that made me laugh.
No,
observably stupid.
It was
it's
him,
a good phrase.
Was him calling Herschel Walker observably stupid. And Turkey Hollow, I'll give. Yeah, I'll match your 0.75 turkeys. That seems right. That seems fair.
Anna?
The Thanksgiving that almost wasn't. I have something to say I didn't say before. Maybe I'm just dumb. I didn't get why the Thanksgiving almost wasn't.
Because they were busy finding the children, and if the children weren't there, they'd have to be mourning instead.
I guess, but I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of weird. Anyway.
Wait, that's a good point, because they did it the next day then. So if the children didn't get lost in the woods, would Thanksgiving have been the last Wednesday in November?
I guess so.
Oh, God. Yeah, the dog hates that,
I thought that
too.
was a turkey for a second. Gosh.
That's the turkeys. Okay. That's the hoonies.
I give Thanksgiving that almost wasn't 1 fat turkey only for the dancing screen grab. That had me rolling. I give Garfield 3 generous turkeys because I had the most fun watching that one. And I give Turkey Hollow half a turkey.
Okay.
Sorry, we have some turkey issues over here.
Oh, no, that's fine.
No problem for the turkeys. Jester one time. She's been naughty on the air multiple times. I've had to pause and run after her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've made me have to edit this podcast. How dare you?
Sorry, Dan.
I give the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't 1.5 turkeys, more just out of the novelty of it.
It was
and the
dancing, wasn't it? Yep.
And the repeated song 3 times. I think when you have that, you got to go with it. I give Garfield 4 turkeys. I truly enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. And then I give Turkey Hollow 1 mangy, diseased roadkill turkey.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
wow. I mean, at least it's one turkey.
I thought it was so bad. And I couldn't even find a way to watch it illegally. I had to pay for it. It's not on any illegal streaming service. No one wants to pirate this.
Dan, are you ever going to have me back on your podcast? Will you ever learn your lesson?
You'll be back because I never learn.
Yeah.
Well,
We have fun.
it's almost Christmas. Think of how many Christmas specials there are.
Please, God, no.
Oh, we already watched.
No.
We already watched one called "The Christmas Light," and it was on the poster. It said it rivals Toy Story, and it didn't.
It does not.
They just wanted to get your foot in the door, you know? They want you to say, oh, what's that all about?
Well, Alex and Lauren, thank you for joining us for our
Yes,
Thanksgiving
thank you for
special.
having
Yeah,
us.
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
very
you
fun.
for enduring our content picks.
My
It was-
brain
it was
shrunk, but it's fine.
I had a good time at the end of the day.
Dan, I see you adding Garfield's Thanksgiving to your yearly watch of Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I feel like that's.
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
go
watch them at
hand
the same time.
Yeah.
I love that.
One dialogue over the other, see what matches up. Have a dark side of the Garfield situation going on. Yeah, thank you both for doing this. It was very fun. We'll have you on again for our Arbor Day series or something.
Oh, I guarantee you we'll be able to find 3
Find
random
something.
Arbor Day.
I don't doubt it. Just go on to Tubi. When I was searching for the Thanksgiving that almost wasn't on Tubi, there were 800 different Thanksgiving things. I was like, what the fuck are these?
My God.
We will be back next week with the return of the Fockers series, talking about Meet the Fockers. So get hyped for that. Everybody wants to see Dustin Hoffman. I was going to say Dustin Diamond. That's different. He was Screech on Saved by the Bell.
Well, he was.
He's dead now.
Yeah, he was a present being.
If you want to support In Conclusion, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter @and In Conclusion, on Instagram @In Conclusion Podcast. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/In Conclusion. If you want to find me, I'm on the dying hell site of twitter.com @DanO'Keefe86, and I'm on TikTok @NotDanO'Keefe. Alex and Lauren, now is your time. Promote anything you want. This is going well.
I don't really have much to promote.
I have nothing to promote. I'm that weird person that's not on social media. I would say vote, but that's past. But vote next time. That's my promotion.
I love that.
And stay healthy. Eat turkey. That's my promotion.
Amen.
Why do you hate
King.
animals, Alex?
Anna, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram @AutomusPrime818, or you can find me on also the dying hellscape that is Twitter @Autobots. Roll out, capital O for Auto, capital B for Bots, capital R for Rollin', the O in Rollin', the O in out are zeros. And you can follow my dog on Instagram @JesterThePup1017. She's cute.
Woof. We'll be back next week with Meet the Fockers. In the meantime, everybody stay safe, have fun, and get vaccinated. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Oh God, bees get degrees, Dan.
A Creative Land podcast.